Good morning. I'm Darin Beckwith, and I'm the director at Dawson Co-op in Arkadelphia. And what we do here at Dawson, we provide support and training for 22 school districts. And I want to take a few minutes and talk to you guys about persistence, which that's a long, big word for saying finish what you start. And we'll just start by saying, this is one of my favorite sayings right here. Every single morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can either get by or you can get better. What do I mean by that? By getting by, that means you just wake up and you just meander through the day, ho-hum kind of thing, or you can get better. You think about, you wake up, what one thing can I do to make myself better? And it doesn't have to be anything huge, but just think about something, how can I make myself better than I was yesterday? And if you can develop that habit, you'll be surprised how quickly you can turn things around and set yourself on a course to success. And this is another list that I encourage people with, and these are 10 things that require zero talent. Being on time, and these are some things too I want to tell you as we go through this, is you can correlate with like doing your work in class. I know a lot of times high school kids always want to say, why am I doing this? I mean, this is so stupid. Why do we do homework? Why are we doing this classwork? Because it's setting you up for the future. You'd be surprised at the number of employers that call us and ask about kids, and they'll ask your teacher, your principal, about how you were or how this kid is, even for summer jobs. Did they show up on time? Did they do their work? So these things are important. And if you'll take this list to heart, I mean, it's going to serve you well into the future, because again, these folks do call and check on you. But being on time, work on that skill. And I like this theory. When it comes to being on time, 10 to 15 minutes early, that's how I say is being on time. Your work ethic. What is work ethic? That means, develop a pattern of just, getting things done each and every day. If you're given a task, make sure you finish that task. Effort. That means give it all you got every single day. Body language. That means no rolling the eyes, throwing your hands up if things don't go your way. Energy. That means when you approach something, be excited about it. Make sure that, if it's something you enjoy doing, showing it. Attitude. We're going to talk about attitude in a little deeper here in just a bit, but attitude's one of those things that you can absolutely control. Passion. I talk about passion a lot. I've got a son who's getting ready to graduate from the University of Arkansas here in a couple of weeks, actually. But that's one of the things we talked about as he graduated high school 4 years ago. Talked to him about passion, because when you get out into the quote-unquote real world, that's one of the things that I really talked to him about, since he was probably in 8th grade. Find your passion. And if you can find your passion, something that you're really passionate about when it comes time to find your career or your work as you become an adult, it doesn't really seem like work. I mean, I'm very passionate about what I do. I enjoy getting the opportunity to get out and talk to groups of people, whether it be high schoolers all the way up to adults. I enjoy the opportunity to just encourage people. So find your passion and really focus on it, but now's the time to do that. What is it you love to do? And if you'll find that passion and start working toward your passion at this point in your life, once you can turn that passion maybe into a career, I promise you, it doesn't even seem like work. And the good news is you'll get paid for it. Being coachable. What do I mean by that? That means listening to your teachers. If you participate in athletics or choir or whatever the case may be, anything extracurricular, if you participate in those things, and if your coach or your band director or any of those folks, they coach you up by giving you, things to work on, they're not being critical. They're trying to help you improve. And that's the same way when you start out with a job. Your boss may come to you and say, hey, that's great work there, but have you thought about this? Don't be offended. Take that advice, use it, work with it to get better. Doing extra. Again, that means, you're given a task. Don't just stop right there. I mean, because when you get into the real world, you're going to want to separate yourself, because let's just say you're up for a promotion later in life, and you know there's 2 or 3 people that apply for the same job that you want, and they're going to say, okay, we've got 3 people here, they're all qualified, what separates them? And if you get in there and you've done a little bit extra over the other 2 candidates, they're going to look at you and say, man, this kid has put in, he comes to work early, he stays late, and he's done the extra things. He's separated himself. And being prepared, that's a skill that you've probably, you've probably heard about being prepared all your life, from kindergarten on up. And that's, whether it's showing up for class or whether it's showing up on the job site, have the tools necessary to do the work. So whatever it is you choose to do, make sure you're prepared. And we'll go on to the next one here, which is setting goals. And the key to success right here is to focus on the goals and not the obstacles. And what I mean by that is, so many times people think about when they set these goals, they get sidetracked because it doesn't go exactly as planned when they set these goals. And here, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You're going to fail from time to time, believe it or not. And so what I want to tell you there is when you stumble, you fall, pick yourself back up, because it's going to happen. And like I say, failure is part of the process. And when you do fail, learn from that failure. Dust yourself off and say, okay, I learned from it. Focus on that goal. I'm going to get right back in there. And this is, what did I learn? How can I get better and continue on toward that goal? Because nobody, I promise you, has attained the goal without some type of failure along that path. And another important thing that I absolutely 100% believe in is writing goals down. Because a lot of times in your head you'll say, well, I think this is what I want to do. But if you'll really and truly take the time to write that goal down and revisit that goal from time to time, and make sure that you focus on the goal again, not the noise on the outside, but what it is you're really trying to attain. And because when that stuff does flood in there and you open the journal or wherever you have that thing written down, that goal, and it will bring you back in there. Because a lot of times there'll be people in your life that say, oh yeah, for sure, yeah, that's not anything you're going to be able to accomplish. But don't let that be a distraction either. I can't tell you the times that people along the way would say, well, I don't really see you doing that, but that didn't do anything but fuel my fire. So what I'm telling you is, if you'll take the time to write the goal down and visit it from time to time, you'll certainly be glad that you did, because at the end of the day, even if you have to tweak it from time to time, you'll say, well, I want to be this, and then you get so far along into it and say, well, maybe I want to do this, but maybe a little differently. So write that goal down so you can revisit it and do some adjusting along the way if you have to. All right, so this next one, I told you we'd get back to attitude, and I'm going to give you a real live example here, okay? Always remember, attitude is something that you can control. And so this is the real live example that I want to give you. So if you're from Jessieville area, which I am, I live out there actually, so y'all can relate to this. So lots and lots of road work going on out there, right? So on any given day, there's probably 3 stops along the way with the flaggers, right? So I'll read the quote real quick and tell you how I related to this. I saw this and I thought, man, I can really and truly relate to this. It's always remember, in 1 minute, you can change your attitude, and in that minute, you can change your entire day. So I'll kind of set this up a little bit. So, I get home and from work, so I'm hustling around. I've got to load the tractor up on the trailer, and get it in. The tractor, got to go get it serviced, right? So I don the official work uniform of Jessieville. I've got my tattered cargo shorts on, right? And my wife loves to see me out in public in this, by the way. So I've got the tattered cargo shorts on. I've got my Justin Moore cowboy boots on with my shorts. I've got the t-shirt with the sleeves cut out, right? Sun's out, guns out kind of thing going on, and my trucker hat. So I'm ready to go. I've got my tractor on the trailer, you know, so I start down Highway 7, boom, hit the first flag station, I'm stopped. I'm like, oh my gosh. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. I'll get into character here. So I'm in the truck, right? I'm pulling the trailer. And so I get to the first one, man, I'm driving, and I'm just, you know, stopped at the first one. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I cruise on down, what is about another mile and a half, and I'm like, yep, stopped again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? Get to Walmart, the one stoplight we basically have, or two, I guess, in Jessieville, and guess what? You got it, red light. I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding me. So making pretty good time at that point, and then I get further down the road down there by, well, you know, the new bait shop. We won't mention that name, but anyway, get down there by the bait shop. They're flagging again, and six cars back. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. At this time, if I could chew nails, I would chew nails. I'm so mad. And I see the guy on the, you know, the guy with the stop sign. He's leaned back on the car, and he stopped, and I'm thinking, man, if I could get out and throat punch that guy, I probably would. But then I suddenly realized, you know, it's not his fault, right? So I did the next best thing. I thought, well, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm sitting there in traffic. Everybody stopped. I can see everybody like me. They're kind of hacked off. So this is what I did. I rolled down the window, and I said, well, you know, it's a nice day. I opened up the old sunroof. And so from that point on, this is what I did. So I opened up the sunroof again. Remember, got on the J-Town official work uniform. So I'm sitting there. Instead of getting mad, I kind of shifted my attitude. And so I, again, rolled down the windows, opened up the sunroof, kicked it on back. Threw the old hand on the wheel. So I'm driving nowhere at this point. Look at the guy at the flag. Oop, I stuffed up on me here. So here we go, I'll go again. So I'm driving, nope, sitting here, looking at the old boy, the flag, and I'm cranking it by this time. Look at him, looking at him, you know. So anyway, hands out the sunroof. This guy's looking at me. So this guy's looking at me like, you idiot. So I keep rolling, and by the time I get there, guy on the backhoe that was leaning over there. So I got these guys doing it with me. Change their attitude. So what I'm telling you, your attitude can work wonders. So don't ever forget that. Have fun when you can. That's the other thing. You got to take time to laugh in the world. And but like I say, from time to time, you got to do that. This is one that I'll leave you with. I tell a lot of kids this one when I get a chance to get out there. It's just a piece of scripture, but it's also pretty motivating, I would say. It's whatever you do in life. It comes from Ecclesiastes. You know, do it well, because when you go to the grave, won't be any more work or planning to be done, knowledge or wisdom. Basically what it's saying, life is short, so you got to keep that in mind. God's gifted us with all these things, so it's easy to get lazy and neglectful, and God has challenged us to do our best with everything that He's given us, basically. So remember that. You get one shot at this life, and God's gifted you with a gift, and so focus in on that gift, set the goal, and do the best that you absolutely can. So I want to encourage you. This has been it's been a terrible year, let's face it, with COVID and all that going on, and it's given us all an opportunity to get lazy, but now's the time to get back in there. And I want to share, obviously, the majority of y'all probably know who this guy is, right? Bobby Bones, you know, actually multi-millionaire guy from Mountain Pine, Arkansas. When he started out, at Mountain Pine there, I forget small class that he graduated with, but anyway, poor situation growing up at home, and he got where he got by working hard. And tons and tons of people told him along the way, man, kid, you're never going to make that. You're never going to get out of Mountain Pine. Look where he's at today. I mean, he is a multimillionaire. He's on American Idol. He's got a radio show that's basically heard around the world. He's got tons of TV shows that he's on now. But again, he started early in life. He'll tell you that I think it was like around 10 years old, he wanted a radio for his birthday because he wanted to hear his name. Somebody had called it in, wished him happy birthday. So when that happened, he was hooked. So it can happen because Mountain Pine, believe it or not, is much smaller than Jesseville. But the thing is, I'll go back to that. He had, finally ended up living with his grandmother. She believed in him, supported him, and he was off and running. So again, set your mind to it, set a goal, it can happen. And for whatever reason that you're not doing work or whatever, you got to bear down. It starts now. You can't wait and 2 years from now and say, I wish I would have done that, because it's not going to do you any good 2 years from now. Work hard, finish strong, and good luck to you. And if I can ever be of help to you, shoot me an email. I appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen today.